All right, this is a letter from Schaeffer Cox to Amnesty International on November the 2nd of 2013. It's 2 pages. Amnesty International, 350 Sansum Street, Suite 210, San Francisco, California, 94104. Related, please consider case. Dear Sir or Madam, my name is Schaeffer Cox. I am a young political prisoner from Alaska. I have a wife and 2 small children. I am currently being held in a highly secretive prison unit for political or high-profile prisoners called the Communications Management Unit, or CMU. The purpose of the CMU is to censor one's communication with the outside world, especially with attorneys or members of the press. It is my great hope that if this letter safely reaches you, you would give diligent consideration to the possibility of rendering me what assistance you are able. I haven't done anything illegal, and I most definitely haven't done anything morally wrong. I just made some extraordinarily people extraordinarily angry with my extraordinarily idealistic charisma. In 2008, I ran for the Alaska State House of Representatives. I came in second in a 3-way race with roughly 38% of the vote. This was not bad for a 24-year-old political newcomer with very little support from party establishment. My relative success is likely attributable to the fact that I loved knocking on doors in my district, something few candidates will even do. Though, from where I sit now, I question whether anything I did can really be called a success at all. After the election, I needed something to do with all the money and the support I had raised. The next election wasn't for 2 years, so I tried to keep the energy going by organizing several groups that focused on Bill of Rights issues as well as whatever else had popular interest. One such area of popular concern was police corruption, especially in the area of drug trafficking and sales. So at 25, with my enthusiasm surpassed only by my naivete, I devised a brilliant way to out the dirty cops by setting up hundreds of hometown people with a sort of video Twitter called the Liberty Bell system. Less than a week later, the statewide drug enforcement unit opened an investigation on me. Now at this point, mind you, I'm Dudley Do-Right Boy Scout who had never even smoked a cigarette, let alone had anything to do with drugs. Consequently, the state drug cops, being unable to obtain a warrant due to lack of probable cause, had difficulty furthering their efforts. So I was passed off to the FBI, who are allowed to run cameras and listening devices into people's homes without a warrant or even reasonable suspicion, which is just what they did to me. They also became very aggressive about sending undercover provocateurs who tried to convince me I was doing things all wrong and that acting out violently was the only way to make things change. When that failed, they tried to provoke me by going after my children. Though this really shook me up bad, I still managed to refuse to respond to their escalating provocations until several undercover agents threatened to kill me if I didn't join them in attacking the government. Fearing for our lives, my family and I tried to flee the country, but we were caught before we made it to Canada. I was arrested and sentenced to 26 years in prison for conspiring against the government. While the prosecutor admitted I had refused to act out violently and had in fact said repeatedly that I was going to act like Gandhi and not like Rambo. He argued that the only reason I hadn't attacked the government was because I didn't have the capability to actually pull such a thing off. He then waxed spooky as he imagined what a murderous revolutionary I would become if given enough time. Reality faded into the background as everyone argued about the hypothetical crimes in hypothetical futures and what was in my heart. The crimes in this case were abstract fantasy, but what's left is a concrete reality, a concrete room with a concrete floor, a concrete ceiling, and a concrete bed. Here I sit, This is the only thing that's real. I know I was fantastically naive and foolish. I have included a copy of my story along with excerpts from supporting legal documents. I have also included a copy of a letter I sent to Rolling Stone magazine that you may find interesting. If, after an initial review, you have questions or would like further documentation, please write me back, and I will see to it that you get what you need. With great respect, Schaeffer Cox.